Hello and welcome everyone, I'm James Rose and this is Amazing Cultivation Simulator. What is that you ask? Well, for most people that might watch this video, at least initially from my subscribers, I would describe it as RimWorld for like the first third of the game, and then RimWorld with magic for the second two-thirds of the game. So a colony sim is not too incorrect for the descriptor of it, but this is basically a colony sim that is in the world of Chinese mythology. Um, for most people watching this, I imagine most people don't actually know much about Chinese mythology. I think, especially for a Westerner, I know quite a bit because I actually quite like light novels. And I apologise if I'm saying it wrong, but wuxia light novels. I don't know what the proper pronunciation of that is because I never actually speak to anybody in real life about it. But they're basically novels about cultivation. So basically, you do martial arts and eventually you can punch down mountains. That's kind of the extremes of it. So yeah, this is a game similar to RimWorld in how it plays, at least initially. But has all of this magic on. So you can see here, we've got the mouse on the screen, we've got the pig boy, we've got a dragon boy, we've got a doggo boy, we've got a cuter doggo boy, and we've got a little, I'm going to call this a fox. I think it's supposed to be a fox. Obviously, everyone knows that Chinese martial artists have to play Go, so we have a Go board here, and this frog is clearly very high. So, I haven't actually thought about how I'm going to enter this properly, so let's just get on with it. So I'll talk through what I'm doing. Classic is just a normal game mode for this game. We are going to be playing it on Immortal. There are two reasons for this. One, Immortal means that you can only autosave. It's essentially like the Iron Man mode for the game, which I think makes these kind of games much more interesting. It does crank up all of the basic difficulty settings. I've also put the map size to large, because large is just generically better for us. Immortal does also unlock more difficulty settings we can put on here. For now, I won't be putting on any of those. I will say I don't have a lot of experience with this game. I think I have about 20 hours in it at this point, which for this kind of game is very, very little. I've mostly just played the beginning part of the game where you start getting built up, just so I can make sure I don't die immediately. And then together we can play through a bit more, and I'll learn as we go along, and hopefully teach you some if you're watching this to learn the game. Cool, so the other thing with Immortal is you do need this on to earn achievements. I think I have about 10 achievements, all very easy ones to get. I've not done anything special in the game. But I do like me some achievements, so we definitely want that on. So yes, that's all we need now. You can also edit the environment. I'm just going to leave it on the defaults, which is essentially a plain. Oh yeah, this game does technically have a story. Basically, you were part of a larger sect. That larger sect got destroyed, and you've run away. That's essentially the story. A sect being like a magic school for anyone who doesn't recognise that term. Cool. So now, character screen. I almost called it a customization screen. It's not really. The only way this is essentially your main character. However, they're not actually that important when you get into the game. And then you have two more, at least initially. These down here, perks. These change what you start with. You can actually use these. If I click loner, we get more perk points, but I lose my people I started with. And you can also go the other way, so you can do leadership and start with, so I click sociables leadership and start with two more people. Sociable and reticent are the minor versions of those, so you lose one person or gain one person. We'll just be starting with 3. I think 3 is fine. Here you can game the system a bit. So, where you can make a reincarnator, which I haven't done. I'm going to do this a bit more randomly. Generally, though, we're going to have humans. There are a bunch of different animal people. Yaogi. Yao guy? I'll go with Yao guy. We have frog people. We have bear people. We have bull people. And we can actually, if I click through these a bit, you can see there's actually quite a few different looks for each of them. But we want humans to start with. With all of the animal people, after a certain amount of time, they have to go through a tribulation, which is not easy to do if you're new to the game, which I am. So we won't be doing them. We'll be all of our starting characters will be humans, although they're not humans right now. So I'm going to do that quickly. Now, as I say, this isn't really character customization. You can choose these perks. However, these generally only affect your main character unless you pick ones that give you items, which obviously was just an effect for your whole group. And these ones, which are your starting, what's the word? Cultivation law? Yeah, I think it'll be called a cultivation law. Essentially, it's for Westerners, I'm going to call it the type of magic you use, martial arts magic. This one is the one that's recommended for beginners. However, I might just leave it. I might let the game decide for us. But anyway, you can't pick your stats or your, I don't know what these were called, traits? Basically your childhood, adulthood, and if there's anything special about you. Or these. So if I just click through this, you can see I can click randomize here, and each character has their own different, I guess these would be traits, I think. So this guy's cold resistant. Yes, so this is just completely random. Really, if you want to be gamey with this, and if you're new to the game, I would certainly recommend doing so. What you should probably do, you should probably just pick this, and then you just want to keep clicking this until you can see on here, required stats, perception, constitution, charisma, intelligence, look. You want to just randomize until you get somebody that has 5 in each of those. If you hover over, you can see what they have. I'm not going to do that. What we're going to do, to make this a little bit harder for ourselves and a bit more interesting, is from here, obviously we have these people, I'm going to click randomize on each one of them once, and we're just going to go with that. Really what you actually want to do is have somebody with high key sense, somebody with high crafting, and somebody that fits whatever law you pick. But I'm not going to do that. I know all of that, mainly because I have read some guides on how to play this game, not terribly. So what we're going to do instead, we're going to play the game terribly, and we're going to click randomize, and we're going to stick with this guy. So he's cold resistant, short-sighted, and the husband of this person, who we're going to randomize again. He was a snake charmer. He's got good perception. Perception's good. Crafting and key sense. Oh, key sense 0. That's really, really bad. That makes me want to just do this once more, because that is really, really bad. With all the skills, you can always increase all of the skills. So we can get all of these to 100, or whatever the top stat is, unless they start with a stat of 0. So this is actually really, really bad, because I can't increase this if it's at 0. So it goes against what I actually wanted to do here, but I'm just going to randomize this once more. There we go. So it's not, none of the stats are 0 now. So this person is actually usable. So we'll do this for the other ones. And this guy. And now, so at least we start with some people whose names I can pronounce. I think we can rename them. If I can remember. Yeah, here. So this guy can be myself. It's a striking likeness, I assure you. This is exactly what I look like. We're in China. Your surname and first name are the other way around, so it would actually be Rose James. And then Lee, I can say. You're going to be Leanne, because I can say that. So we've got me, Leanne, and you're going to be Yanli. There we go. Imaginative, I know. Perfect. Okay. So our stats are actually not too awful. And neither of the others are either. You can actually still increase your stats later. The only stat you can't increase easily, I think, is luck. So we don't have amazing luck, but it's not too bad. Our key sense is alright for our main character. Key sense is important. That's essentially how easily... Key is essentially the magic. It's how easily they can get the magic energy. That's how I'm going to describe that. So, for anyone who actually knows much about this watching this, I know some of the descriptors are hard, but I'm doing this on the fly, right? It's very hard to come up and with accurate descriptions of how cultivation works for people that know nothing about it on the fly. Cool, so what do we want to do? Next we need to choose our perks. We have 5 points. I could just pick this. However, as we haven't clicked randomize until we've got somebody that fits it well anyway, if you haven't played the game at all before, the best thing to do is probably to pick this one, then just randomize till you've got someone that fits the stats required on here. What we're going to do instead though, we want to come along to here, and we're going to pick up some things that are useful to us. You could do with, let's see, if we want to I could get started quickly by going for these. These would also make him a better fighter. Is perception? No, perception's not helpful for fighting, I don't think. That is builder. Builder would be very helpful for getting started. So most of these things, or a sword straight off the bat would be useful. I'm sure we can find one easily though. Yeah, I'm going to start with spare food and builder, simply because these will help us get started easier as we go along. Yeah, these will help us get started better, because we're starting with resources we need. And then I'm going to give this guy Ironclad just to make him... He's probably going to end up being... Has he got the highest key sense? He does. So this guy's probably going to end up being our first cultivator. So having Ironclad making him a bit harder to kill will be good. Cool, so let's go with that. Yeah, so as I said, the story is you were part of a larger sect, but it got attacked and destroyed. Okay, cool. I think this has actually given us the lore that we'd have got if I'd spent that perk point on choosing the beginner lore anyway. So the game will always give you one lore randomly. So we'll need to obtain these other ones later. But it's actually given us the one that it suggests when you start the game. So that's quite lucky for us, I think. Cool, so let's pause. Where are we at? We're in the middle of nowhere. I'm actually in a window. Normally I'll play this full screen, but in order to get it the right size for looking okay on YouTube, I've had to put it in a window. So I need to be careful when I scroll up, because I can scroll up too far and then it stops actually scrolling the page. Cool, so what are we doing? First off, we need to build a bonfire. That's just a prerequisite for starting the game properly. And I also want to tell people to start exploring a little bit around the area we're in. And see if there's anything useful nearby. We will want to explore the whole map. You can actually find lots of boxes and corpses which have useful things on them. So for that reason it's a good idea to explore. Oh, hello. Mysterious Cultivator. The sect leader and I go way back. I caught wind of Tai Yi's troubles and came as soon as I could. But it was too late. Thankfully, the gods are kind and have not allowed this to be the end of the Tai Yi sect. Finally, I've found you. Do not worry. I shall stay in isolation for a while and protect you all. If you ever encounter difficulty while on the road to cultivation, don't be shy, ask away. Cool. So, this guy here, this guy actually kind of knows what he's doing. So, if I select one of our guys, cultivation, this is... basically it shows you how far along being a magic cultivation magician you are. So we are all basically at 0. You need to fill this up first before you're even considered a cultivator. So James Rose here is the only one with any actual cultivation, but he's a long, long way off. Go to this guy instead. You can see he has a lot more words on his thing and big numbers. So this guy could destroy all of us in an instant. And we don't want that, so we need to be friendly with him. He says he wants to stick around, so we're going to have to let him. Luckily, he doesn't eat anything. So, yes. Now, I have a Valentine's Day, because it's Valentine's Day today on the day I'm recording this, and hopefully the day I put it up. That's the current plan. I have a little gift for you. So, previously, on all the things I have done, I have just been a disembodied voice. But luckily for me, in a way, my work has decided that actually we all need webcams so that we can use Microsoft Teams while we're working from home. We're probably coming towards, hopefully, the end of all of us having to work from home at this point, but they still decided to send us all webcams. So, ta-da! I now have a video camera. I am now a proper YouTuber. Now, my plan actually with this, I should look at the camera when I'm speaking now, shouldn't I? I'm used to looking at the screen, but I should actually because I'm looking at you that way. It's also kind of weird. Because I'm not looking at a person, I'm just talking to a camera now. I've gotten used to talking to the screen, but I'm not used to talking to a camera. It's kind of weird. My plan actually originally was yesterday I was going to stream this. However, my ISP decided that actually I didn't need more than 3 megabytes per second upload speed, and so I couldn't stream it. I tried for like an hour, but I could. It never went above 3 megabytes per second. And in order to stream this, really, I think I need about 5. But yeah, so here we are. We're doing videos instead, even though I originally wanted this to be streams. Cool. So oh yeah, also, as it's Valentine's Day, I found this. There we go. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Especially you single people. You are the ones I feel for, because I am also single. So this can go down here. There we go. Beautiful. And now I need to remember to remove that for the next time I record this, because otherwise that's not going to make sense. So if you're in a relationship, well then, lucky for you, someone else can wish you Happy Valentine's Day. If you're single, then Happy Valentine's Day. Anyway, let's get on with the game. So, which one's this? Li Yan here has built us a bonfire that unlocks some more basic construction, which we will need. And now the first thing we want to do is build ourselves a house. So the easiest way to make sure that's done properly, I think, is start with a door. Then we need beds. So that means no space between the door and the bed. So we want to go up one, and then one there, and then one there. And then we need walls. And boom. Oh, have they built all that out of iron? Oh, it doesn't really need to be built out of iron. It always defaults to building things out of iron. Let's see. Do we care what the... So, this is important, this thing here. This is for Feng Shui. So, each element, every item, you can see the different types of building material here. These all have a particular element, and one element feeds another one. So, for example, each room, so a good example here, let's use the stove. So a stove is built out of a certain material, and whatever material you build that out of, the things around it should be built out of the material that feeds it. So if we use a igni copper bar, so it's a fire material, we then need to build the room around it out of wood. And that it gives you good feng shui, which is good for all of your people because they're all happier and cultivation goes smoother for them. Is essentially how that works. What the game has actually done here is it's decided that we need iron beds and that walls should be made of iron. Now, this is not useful to us. How many marble blocks do we have? We do have 200. We could build this. So, if I remember correctly, the only excuse me, the only temperature neutral room you can build easily is by building the center bit, so whatever the most important thing in the room is, so in this case it's the beds, build them out of metal, and then build the rest of the room out of earth. So that's the best feng shui for a bedroom. Otherwise, if you start using fire or water at all, you run the risk of heating or cooling the bedroom, which is then not good for the people while they sleep. So, having the beds out of iron is fine. We started with the builder trait, so we do have a lot more materials. Usually we wouldn't have these bars. Usually we just have a bit of wood. But the bedroom is important. So I'm actually going to we're going to keep the beds out of iron. And then we're going to build the walls out of marble. And this should be the best feng shui for the bedroom. So other things to note for feng shui, which is something I'll need to do as we go along. Bedrooms always have the door facing south. Kitchens need to have the door facing west. Is that west? Yes, west. And workplaces, so anywhere where things are being made, workshops need to have the door facing east. So anything, I don't think any others matter. Cool. So that's that. What needs to be? Just remembering. Okay, so we can have a timber station just outside. It doesn't matter if the timber station's in a building. So I'm going to put that there. So as we get wood from knocking down trees, we can turn that into timber, which we can then use to build things. We're also going to want a kitchen. Now, normally we would have to go out and like knock down some trees to be able to easily build all of this, but as we started with the builder thing, this is a bit easier. So, with a kitchen, the stove will always make some fire element anyway, so it's best to build it out of fire and then feed it with wood. And we'll hope that the whole building doesn't burn down. Cool, so, let's see. We want to have it facing that way. And then we want to... We can always change some of this later. I built out of the right material, don't I? Yes. Then we want to build the stuff around it out of wood. That should be alright. The other thing with Feng Shui you need to keep in mind after the elements things are made of in the direction of the door is how cramped the room is. So I think you're supposed to have between 30 and 70% of the floor space taken up. If you don't, then that also hurts the Feng Shui. I'm losing my voice already. That's really not good when we've just started this. And wooden door. Cool. So we're building a kitchen, we're building a bedroom, and I think we should just let them get on with that now. Oh yeah, and that guy's also running around. We've got our cultivator here. He's keeping us safe, so if anything attacks us, he will go and just kill it. There's nothing that can turn up while he's still around that can actually do us any harm while he's still here. Well, it can hurt people. So if a bear attacks my guy, the bear will get a few hits in before that guy saves him. And people can take injuries. Now, why is not everyone building? Cool. So here under work, you can set who does what. So everyone's firefighting, and then some things you just want the best person doing. Building, it doesn't matter who does it. Farming, it doesn't matter who does it. Same with mining, same with logging. The rest of them, you do generally want to have people who are good at the things doing them. In this case, these three are all equal. You don't need to craft. So this guy at the bottom, he's basically going to be our... Oh no, he can also cook, to be fair. He's our chef and our peon. To be fair, they're all doing peon work, so we've only got 3 people. Peon work is just stuff like moving materials around. Cool, so we've immediately found some green spaces. Green spaces are important because we need them for farming. Oh, we've also found a box down there. Anytime you find a box, you just want to search it. And we also have a decomposing body here, and again, anything like that, you want to search it, it'll have materials in it. Sometimes useful, sometimes not. They'll be less useful for us here because we started with builder, and the boxes usually have building materials in them. The decomposing corpses usually have weapons, which we definitely want, because they'll be better than any weapons we can make right now. Well, we can't make any weapons right now, I don't have the building for it. So, found some marble, good. Found some more wood, fine. Found a marble bow, good. Next, what I want to do is designate an area. So currently we just have all of our stuff on the floor here. I want to just designate a big storage area here. And the sect generally, as nothing has to be built with the door facing north, I tend to not build stuff to the south of my starting position. I tend to end up building like here. Although we want to avoid the green areas. The green areas are fertile soil, and those are best used for farming. So I'll let them actually finish building these 2 places first, because these are fairly important to start with. We could also, once they've moved everything into the storage area down here, we could also just build a central building here for them to eat in. It's nice to give them a room to eat in. I don't think it's actually that important, but I like doing it. Oh yeah, that's some leisure, so they can play tic-tac-toe. Not too important, but sure. These are some blueprints I made before, so if you have a building, you can select it, and that makes a blueprint. Don't need to actually save it. But I have a blueprint just for single bedrooms, and I have a blueprint for workshops, because those tend to be the buildings I build a lot of, especially early on. Okay, so you can be built out of different materials, so you probably want to be in a room, same with a handcrafting station. We do need a well. A well should also... I normally just put the well outside, but I guess maybe you're supposed to put a well in a room, because you can build it out of different materials, so I assume Feng Shui affects it. I can't remember all these things exactly, so I haven't actually played too much of this game. But anything that is affected by Feng Shui, really you want to be trying to be good with it about. Where, as you get further into the game, you can build a observatory, which then shows you some of the Feng Shui of things around. Cool, so our kitchen's done. Now, one thing I would actually like to do... Oh, hello. Great Feng Shui. Oh, excellent. Haha! So that's a new achievement. So that's because one of our rooms is auspicious. I think I said that right. I can't actually check that at the moment because say you need an observatory to see Feng Shui in a room, but it's because I'm building the rooms out of the correct materials. Usually when I've been practicing this, I just build them out of whatever because I haven't been planning to get far enough in the game for it to matter that much. Oh no, James is hurt. James, what happened? You've damaged your organs. How did you manage that? How did he damage his organs? Oh, well done. That's good. Let's put some training spots here. There we go. They can train in this area, all around the tic-tac-toe board. Training spots are just telling people where to train. I don't think it actually matters where the outer disciples train. So right now, all these guys are considered outer disciples. They're considered outer disciples until they finish their foundation training. Then they become an inner disciple. That's when they become particularly useful. Now, one thing we should check, actually. Do any of you have room needed? Do you not have the beds assigned? Normally the beds auto-assign. Oh, okay. The beds didn't auto-assign, so we'll do that. And that should be... All of you have a bed now, cool. So at night they will go and sleep in those beds. I swear there's normally auto-assign. I don't know how it decides whether to auto-assign something or not. So we check James. You are hurt. It's not getting worse though, so that's fine. We'll get rid of that notification. You'll bring everything down here. One thing that would be good, and to make things more efficient, is if we actually had the food linked up to here. So what I want to do actually is clear these trees and some grass here. Make it a bit nicer. In fact, clear what's in that building as well, and clear any dirt in there. Because currently we haven't put any flooring down. Why? What are you two doing? You're just training. You are just training. Who had the highest key sense? I want to take the person with the highest key sense and make sure they're told to become a cultivator sooner rather than later. So it is James. So on this menu we can do work hard, and he'll just spend a bit longer actually trying to become a decent cultivator that way. We do need tools for chopping. So currently this person's going full Minecraft and just punching this tree. Yan Li, you can do it. Go on, girl. Show that tree who's boss. What we actually want to do, if we're being good people, is we want to build a handcrafting station. I think we want to, as with the beds, we want to build it out of metal. And then we need to build a room around it out of marble. So we can do that, make sure it's in the back corner. And make the room slightly larger, there we go. Make sure the door's made out of marble, cool. So once that's done, we can use... You can also just, say we've started with more materials, so this is a bit easier. But if I can find it, yeah. So you can put down these here, where you can use just spots on the ground rather than workstations to make some of the things. Why are you in there? You're sleeping. Have you not realised you have a bed assigned? They're going to moan tomorrow now because they slept on the floor. So everyone does have a mood. So far from chaos. So I'm guessing that I think that's just something that's been applied because we've just started the game. So you can see we have good feng shui, variety in life. I'm sure there's a lot of variety here. He gets to pull up weeds, chop trees, cook and build buildings. What more variety could you need? Have we done all the exploring around? We have. So we've found some bits we can use for farming, which is the most important bit. But we want to keep just slowly expanding the area around. So that we can keep checking for boxes. On the map, in either the bottom left or bottom right hand corner, or possibly both, I think, will be some kind of monster. So we do need to be careful going down to the bottom left and bottom right hand corner to start with. Because currently the monster will just destroy us. I'm not sure if this guy could beat it, or if we could possibly make him fight it. When I've read guides online for this game, say, because to make sure I wasn't too awful when we started, there wasn't anything to do with making him fight it, so I don't think he can. Also, one thing to note, which will be useful later. Right now we have lots of materials. When we don't, up here, if there's a lack of materials for something that needs doing, like building a building, if I tell you to build marble walls and there's no marble, it'll say up here. So that's a good place to keep an eye on. Oh yeah, James Rose is thirsty. We don't have a well yet. I could build a well and then... I don't know what kind of building a well's supposed to be in. Does a well matter for Feng Shui? I really don't know. We could just put it outside for now, and then if it turns out the Feng Shui of the well does matter, then we can put it in a building later. You guys haven't locked yourselves inside by any chance, have you? You should be able to walk around there. They haven't left that room for a while now. Let's speed it up and see if they leave. So there is on the work screen where you select jobs, you can also tell people when to do certain things. So currently 2 hours a day people will train. If somebody doesn't train during a day, they lose 1,000 cultivation progress, which is not good. Are you guys actually stuck? Do I need to, like... If I tell you to demolish this, can you then get out? Because there's definitely a doorway. Okay, then he could leave. Did I make this room too small? Okay, in that case, we'll demolish this back wall. And we will then make that room a little bit bigger. So that's just a pop-up telling us we can make even more buildings now. So now we can make things like furnaces and looms for making metals and fabrics. I'm just going to pause there and redo this building. So this was made out of wood. So we'll go one further back. And then we will put the stove back in the room. Make sure the stove is made out of the correct material. And then we hope people can get out of there. So you still need a tool for chopping. We have this now. I am using some of the iron, so we can choose, if we right click on this, we can choose what material we make this out of. I think for now, just making them all some wooden materials would be alright. How much iron do we have? We do have a lot of iron. So, no, I think we'll be nice. They can all have iron tools. So 3 axes, 3 pickaxes, 3 farming tools. Only one of them should be a doctor. So we'll just do 1 set of needles. The needles are used by the doctor to do better, to heal people better, I think. Why have you lost consciousness? What happened? Why are you nearly dead? Oh, are you dying of thirst? Is that the issue? I think because he got trapped in here, he's now dying of thirst. James is not doing too well. Okay, I think this person just brought him some water. Let's see if his drink goes up. Yes, cool. So James should be okay now. James wasn't our... Oh, James was... Oh no, we have 2 crafters, it's okay. So we still have a crafter to build the tools once that's done. We can also use this, I think, to make, yeah, wooden offcuts. So wood offcuts are useful because you need those to do flooring. Right now, flooring's not too important. Our people are generally relatively happy. But as time goes on, you want to make sure things are clean. So in the very bottom right of the screen, you can see it says stuff down here. The third bit down, it says normal or filthy generally. That's because this is all just dirt. And we want to make that say something like impressive or beautiful instead as we go forward, because that'll make people happier. Okay. So right now, the only food we have is dried meat and bread. So that stuff, you can also hover over this. Oh, it's not. Is it? Oh no, it's at the top there. So it says begins decaying in 49 days. In 49 days, we'll almost certainly have eaten all of this. So we're only on day 2 right now, and there's 3 of them. And so that means, well, I don't know how much they eat a day actually. It says food 85, but I don't know how much of that, how much food they take a day. I guess it's not too important. Okay, cool. So they fixed that room. Hopefully they can get in and out of there without getting trapped now. And oh, actually, that begs the question: is this room big enough? It should be. I swear it should be. How big do I normally do the rooms? Because I say I have this blueprint. Okay, I do normally do the rooms one deeper. So I am going to tell them to demolish this. And we're going to make this room one deeper. Another thing I do need to do, which actually this has no game impact as far as I'm aware, is this roof is the wrong colour. We need to make a marble roof. You can do roofing, if I remember. It must be under structure, right? Yeah, roof. So you can do roofing. Obviously, it costs a few materials and it costs people's time, but it makes things look better. So we'll be doing some of that. Okay, so he has knocked the wall back down. We want to go back to marble, and we want to go one more than before. And then can I just move you? I think I can. Yep, so just move that back one. Oh, he's going to use it first. Okay. So let's get this all finished up. Or not. Are you all going to sleep? How's James doing? Is he... Okay, he's healing. That health bar is higher than it was before. I don't know how he damaged his blooming organs. Okay, he's up and about now. He's back to work. Cool. And that's done. And that should just about be the end of day 2. Okay, you're going to work a bit more. James isn't doing too well, so he's gone to bed early. Cool. Li Yan and Yan Li both been in bed. And we will end it there. Cool. So, that is Amazing Cultivation Simulator. We haven't actually got to the cultivation part yet. Each morning they will do 2 hours of training here. I've set James to train whenever he's free, basically. So he'll go up faster than the other two. You can see these two are both much lower than James is. Once he's actually a full... It's kind of annoying he's also a crafter. Was there someone else with half decent crafting ability? Yeah, there was. Okay, it's okay. James is actually not the best one. Yeah, so because once he becomes a cultivator, he will stop doing normal work, so he won't do any of this anymore. He'll have a bunch of other tasks we can have him do, but it's important that he isn't somebody too important for anything before we make him a cultivator. It looks like he's not. He is currently our hunter, but the other two aren't that much worse at hunting, so that's okay. Cool, so that's everything all good. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I've been James Rose, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, have a nice day. Oh, and leave a comment and a like down below. Apparently that helps the YouTube algorithm. If you've come this far in the video, that's probably also helped, because watch time's really important too. Bye-bye.